Hello, friends. It's me, Cynthia, and Marty Baobun, and Azalea. She's behind the screen. And we are Greengirlstudios, and this is our Wednesday edition Magic Hour. Welcome,
Hello.
friends. Welcome, welcome. Today, I thought we would do something I haven't done in a minute, which is paint some pewter with. I have some of these colors, these vintage colors from Vintage Paints, or Vintage, you know the brand. They're well known for their manufacturing of brass. And what else do they make? I think it's mostly brass. They make brass stampings from vintage molds. I think that's where the name comes. I used to think they said their name is actually just vintage. And so I've been calling them Vintage because it's spelled Vintaj. So for so many years I called them Vintage. That's just how it looked to me. Just looked at the spelling. It looked like it should be named Vintage and not Vintage. But anyway, I have some water. I have some brushes here. I have a few things some napkins. It's a very limited amount of things that you need for this craft. Very easy. Oh, hello, my friends. I see Michelle Green. Hello, Morphing Designs. Hello, my friends. Thank you all for joining us today on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. It's already almost dark outside. You can see the weather is. We'll be able to move upstairs to the attic. More, it's a little cooler up there at this time of year. It seems like we're run off in the summertime when it's hot because the heat in this house rises. It makes the studio like an oven. It's super hot. You wouldn't even believe it. You're like, how can it be hot? It's hot. But it is. So there you go. What can you do about that? Maybe put an attic fan. That's might be what I'm thinking. Oh, hello, Karen. Hello, my friends. Last Sunday we did a lucky dip. We had a pretty full house. It was pretty good. And I have one thing left for myself, just a little bit from that last dip came out. I was a little scared there wouldn't be any left, but not that I don't have plenty of beads because I have a lot to put in there. What is it, son? He heard me. He heard me messing with this, so he's kind of excited. Acts like he does not. He does not. Oh, Michelle says, now that I know who Morphing Designs is, thank you, Azalea. We talked about that today, and she was like, I'm so filled with embarrassment. And I was like, sometimes it just
I did not even
out of your
intend
mouth.
to expose her like that. I'm sorry.
Sometimes it happens. Look, he's getting in preparation. He knows what's going to happen. You guys might think that I don't feed him very much, the way he's acting like he didn't get any food. But, you ready, honey?
Yeah.
You can have just a taste for right now, right? Just a small taste. Oh, thank you. Morphing Design says, in case you don't know, I think I speak for the majority of peeps in this group, but y'all are wonderful and we appreciate these lucky dips. The beads mean a lot to you and we love them too. Oh, yes. Well, they are. I remember talking to a friend about this, about how, when you sit there and you stare at these beads, you're picking, for the most part, out of millions of beads. When you go to a bead show, even a small one, you're contending with, at least 100 vendors. And granted, there'll be stuff that you're not going to be interested in, like finished jewelry or whatever it is that maybe you can narrow the focus to put it down to maybe 30 booths of stones. But it's a lot of picking and choosing and a lot of spending time learning about rocks. I spend a lot of time looking at books, looking at different things to get that knowledge. Oh, he is a fuzzy baby dragon. Oh, thank you. Azalea is on there too. He is ready for it. He got a little snack.
I think when I made the stream earlier, it did not post. our thing. That's why I was like, why is it that we've been going? How was it that we were going a minute and there was like nobody in there? And
Well,
so
usually we have people waiting,
Well, it's
standing
because
by
this
to
thing
let it to warn
didn't
everyone.
post until we went live for some reason today. It was
Lame.
some glitch and on Facebook, of course.
Of course,
But
Facebook.
I'm
Brat.
checking it out now. It's live now, but that
All
was
right.
very weird.
He's good. He's good at being fastidious. Oh, you guys want to see what I made earlier today? So this one, and you know, it's funny. You can get a bunch of different looks. So this is from the Lucky Dip partial. This is not from all of it because I'll tell you, I put in some CZs. I don't usually work with CZs just because you know, I got that same thing that a lot of us, that same, I don't know what the word is. Not suspicion, not snobbery. Not sure what. Maybe it's a little bit of, you know, I don't know. So I used a charcoal thread with this one. So you can see that. I'll lay it down. It's hard to see it, and then I'm trying to peek past my hand and let it, you know. Here we go. So these top ones, they're CZs right here. They look like orange kyanite. They're not orange kyanite. It's CZs. I just made this to see what it would look like. And I did, this is the one where I strung about the least amount. I think I showed it a couple days ago when I was showing the pieces, the necklaces strung. And this one had about 8 inches, I want to say. And you can see it makes a pretty long necklace. And I did the separation between each bead's about 1/4 of an inch. Some of them, like I wasn't counting between each one, so there could be some of them where there's a fewer and some with a few more stitches. Sometimes when you have a larger bead, I will leave a little bit more space. And I tell you, it's there's a lot of freedom with how much space to put in there. And I feel like this is probably ideal to me. I like that 1/4 of an inch amount of, maybe that's in the microfine, that's probably like 5 stitches on something that is a little bit more, like a little, let me see, there's a, so this one, I like everyday one. This has a little bit thicker. This is a thicker, you can see, let me do a comparison. Maybe let's just switch the cameras already. We'll just do it. We'll just hop in. I want to show you some stuff today, so let's get it going. Get all that extra mess out of there. Okay. So here, let me show it. Okay, here we go. All right, let me drag this down a little bit more. Super high tech. I usually I call this my snack bowl. It's not really, it's my jewelry snack. And then I put, I got this thing. It's supposed to be acupressure. If you pick this up, it's really, really spiky. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's, I don't know. I have a love of self-care. And that's part of it. All right. So this one hasn't been done yet. Actually, I feel like this one is too long. I strung too much on this. So I kind of got, I don't know. Sometimes I just go into like I don't want to say a trance because I'm not in a trance, but my brain goes soft, smooth. And I did on this one. Let's see. I think this one has, this doesn't, man, this thing doesn't hold it anymore. Hold it. Shoot, I gotta hold it because it doesn't hold still anymore or clamp down. So this is about 13.5 inches. Seemed like a lot. After this one had, I strung about 8 inches for this one. And it says about 1/4 of an inch between. So you can see. This is probably, if you put this with like two knots in between, it'd be a very different look of a necklace. So here you can see it a little closer. Let me get this. Sometimes this thing doesn't want to do that. There we go. Oh shoot, accidentally clicked on something else. All right, so here you can see when I'm talking about the space, this is about 1/4 of an inch. And if you looked very carefully, this is made up, I don't know how close this will go. Maybe I'm trying to count it from here. I think it's six stitches. It's hard to count it from a distance. But this was about 8 inches of beads strung and crocheted in between. Okay, I'm going to switch back. All right. So this is actually too much. And you know, if you do, here's the thing. If you do string too much, you know what? Here's the good thing. You don't have to necessarily cut it. Sometimes I'll leave them on there and you start from one end, right? And then when you have used the amount of beads on the strand that you're happy with, say this much, that would make a nice necklace. This is about how much I used to do the necklace that's sitting right here. I didn't do the whole thing. It's probably not enough for two. This is probably too short. So, but if you wanted to make a necklace about, you know, kind of like, what did we decide that that's called? Princess. If you have it about 2 inches under your collarbone, is that princess length of a necklace?
I think so.
I never remember. There's a chart somewhere where you can look up, but I've never had need of naming the amount of or the type. Like long is opera length. I know that one. If you're going to transport them, you know what I like to do? I'll do this, and I have one of these eyeglass things here. And if you have a rubber band or a silicone thing, you can put that in there and tuck everything in, and then you can put it in your purse. Or if you just have a pouch, that works good too. And that's what I brought this with me when we ran around. Joanne and I went to the Biltmore. I had that in my bag, ready to sit under a tree, ready and waiting. I mean, this is the fun and easy part here is crocheting it. The tedious part is stringing, and then the last tedious part is putting the clasp on it. That's the hard parts. So I usually leave it open to add things to it. So what I'll do with this, I'll hang it on to, I have a light right here next to me, and so it has a little notch that I hang my necklaces on. It kind of stretches them out a little bit, just very gently, and keeps them out of the way. Yeah, I'm hanging it up so it doesn't get lost. Anyway, that's what's going on with that. Oh, and here's the clasp. Check this out. Isn't this neat? I got this thing in an estate sale. It's actually, if you can believe it, it's called Plique Azure. And I got it for practically free because if you can see at the top, now you could probably see all of these little spots here are missing where the glass has come out. But I was thinking about just going in with some UV resin, you know. It's so pretty. That's all glass. This side didn't have, or this part didn't have any missing spots, but the lid did. I can't imagine how much work this had to be to make this. But it's one of my favorite things that I found at an estate sale. So I did a little bit more work today on getting this ready for the mold. It's I feel like this is done. I could always put, let's see if I can get it. Get in there, you. Why isn't that? Oh, there it goes. It takes a second, right? To get it to focus. So this is kind of designed. It's not exactly, I should get that book from downstairs. There's a series of books I grew up with called the serendipity books. They're kind of like the dragon kind of looked like this a little bit with big eyes, but it was a kind of like a Nessie dragon. And so this is kind of a riff on that kind of charming sweet face that it has, but differences. The only thing it has in common is like the head is similar and the kind of long body shape. But anyway, it's kind of a nod to that dragon, the serendipity dragon. And maybe I'll put something on the back. Oh, our friend Donna. Hello, Donna. Donna. Sometimes I think about those shows that we used to get up to. Remember the good days of going to shows? Sometimes I go to shows, but not that often anymore. And so there's that clasp for Azalea. And check this thing out. Who knows if this is going to look good. You know, it's always a gamble of what's going to happen. So I made, let's see if this will, how long does it take to self-adjust? Maybe it takes, do it. I guess I gotta do it manually. There it goes. So this is going to be a bead cap. I don't know how it's going to look, but I feel like that might look pretty good. There's a little bit of something in there. It's supposed to be like this. I don't know if that'll look good or not. We'll see. It's just an idea. You never know what's going to happen. And this is the clasp. I kind of tidied it up a little bit. Where did the rest of it go? Okay, so here's that necklace I made for Zoe. She's been waiting very, very patiently for this to be done. So this is the mixed chain. Okay. Get in there, you. Focus. It's a little bit of it. So the hole is right here. I don't know if you can see that. It's on this side because it's like, there it is. You can see it. But I thought that would make a nice, clasp. Here's the end of it. One end of it. And that way you can make it adjustable. So if you want it really tight, or you can make it looser than tight. We'll see how that works. I'm going to put that back on autofocus you. All right, so that's what's on my wax work. Oh, and then this. See if you can see the face. I have worked so hard on this little mermaid, you would not even believe how much time I have spent. Oh, I know what's missing. I'm missing a light. I'll turn that right here. With this one. Put that on there. There we go. I think it's like, it's not quite choker. It's longer than choker. What would you say? We looked at it and it was about 2 inches below her clavicle.
It's so pretty. I'm so ready to wear it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see that one? That's a good piece right there. That's rainbow tourmaline. Yeah, look how pretty that is. Looking good. So that's the clasp. This is the clasp. And I want to put one more dangle. I could actually add a whole nother section so that this could be even longer. That's the beauty of this style of necklace, because you could take chain that you've had in your collection for a while and you're like, maybe I'll make earrings, or I'll just use it as a extender. This has lots of different varieties of chain. And this is also the stuff that the necklace that I did, the patina with liver of sulfur, and I have not gone over it. Is this This is the necklace that's yours? I have another one sitting over there.
Yeah, wait, let me see the end of it. Yes, if it has that pumpkin ruby near the end, that one's mine. I'm delighted by it and ready.
Yeah, can you believe this is left? This is all that's left from that lucky dip. Need to get more beads out. Check that out. I'm going to spread it out. I say that's all that's left of it, but then if you look over here, this is what I dumped out from earlier. I dumped out a whole nother one of my collections. It was in this, and I just dumped it out completely. This broke the other day. I guess I was too vigorous with it. But that's part of, I think this is part of 2 lucky dips. I mean, I'm calling them lucky dips now, but really what it was I emptied out a tin of beads that I've been collecting. So the next one I found some strands of some really pretty, man, they're really pretty smoky quartz I found that look good. A lot of things. Put this in here to keep it safe. You know what? I lost these earlier because I forgot that I put it in this. I was running around. I was like, wait a second. It's in this. And I was happy. So, isn't that pretty? Oh, La Vie Boheme. Hello, hello, my friend. Let's paint some pewter today. I thought about how much, like I haven't done it in a minute. These are part of the painted pewter. These, so you can, maybe I have a wet nap somewhere. A wet nap is good to get the oil from your fingers off of the pieces so that they're easier to paint. Honey, can you get me, I forgot to grab a lid because I usually have one. It's not in here. There's usually a lid on top of my box of patinas. So this is the brand. You can get these at I believe Hobby Lobby carries some colors. We did carry I made a blend of like the 5 core colors that you need to make pretty much any color. Although they don't have a true red. And I've been bugging about that actually, here's a true red. But even then it's still kind of, it's still a little on the orange side. So if you were to get, a lot of y'all have these colors already, but if you were to get a set for yourself, say you wanted to do some of this, look how pretty these look. This is some that I've done in the past. Some of them have Pearl-Ex powders, and some of those that are not Pearl-Ex brand, but they're a brand that you can get on Amazon that are for nails, for nail art. You know, you can get these action packs of pigment powders. They're not quite as saturated as the ones from Pearl-Ex. Pearl-Ex makes some really nice ones. Put this here. You give me a lid, honey?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I have these that we pulled earlier. And if you don't have a wet nap, you can use a paper towel that's just dry, because the whole point is just to, one paper towel, please. So I'm not white. Here we go. Oh, is that right? You know, I have some that are doubles. We'll get out the basic. Here's what you need if you don't need this one. The basic set right here. With these, you can pretty much make anything. So you have black, white, blue, red, and yellow. These are the primaries. So you could make orange and yellow with orange, or yellow and red make orange. You can get a kind of a purple with these two. They're not 100% true. They're a little bit, I don't know, there's kind of a lot of filler in there, so that's to be expected. So these need to be shaken up. because they will settle. And you can see it very clearly illustrated with this one. So this is a interference color. So it goes blue, between blue and pink. You can see it here. It's kind of a pearl. But the pigment, there's not as much pigment as you'd think. See, this has been sitting. And so there's actually about, I don't know, less than a quarter of an inch of pigment. Part of me thinks I could make these.
I was just about to say, you need to just do your own line because you would do the colors the way you want.
I know.
As a you know, a painter.
I like to make my own paint. That's for sure. I do like to make my own paint. And so I'll just hold the whole thing in a big fistful and shake them just like that until they're mixed. Sometimes I'll pick up a pack of brushes. These are pretty cheap brushes. I mean, they're like $6 for this whole thing. Any craft store. And you just want to mix them until you can see that one looks, I mean, I only shook it for a few minutes. Should be good. I'm a big fan of a brush that's like this. It's kind of like a cat tongue. I guess it's called a filbert. Maybe a filbert is where it's kind of rounded off, like, or maybe they call it a cat tongue. Get a little closer. So these, if you've ever done this, it's pretty fun. It's pretty satisfying. It reminds me of painting, like, I don't know, coloring in a coloring book, kind of that vibe. It kind of reminds me of. You know what? I didn't see the ship. That's an old piece. Some of these are old and I haven't gotten around to painting. I just threw them in here. We'll do them too. I think some of them I might have prepped them in the thought of painting it, but just didn't get around to it. And that's exactly what it looks like. Because if you want them to have a little more tooth, a satin finish, you can use one of these guys here and cut a piece and cut like a little square of it. And then you can just get in there and kind of wipe them a little bit. That will kind of knock the shine off so you can really, like, you can kind of see what's happening a little bit. Like, to show that. See how shiny that is? You get in here like this, and it'll take some of the shine off. The reason you want to do a little bit of this prep work right here is this will hold your paints a little bit better. Oh, C. Gray says, you are wearing my favorite necklace with beads you carved and those handmade pewter beads. Very striking. Thank you. And see, there's a little bit, see that some of the oxidation that we put on it, we use a product to patina them. Sometimes you can get a little bit on your hands, but it's easy to remove. I'll just give them a wipe down like that. And so it's not as shiny. I'm cutting down the resistance to the paint. So if you don't do anything, the paint will still more than likely stick, but it will stick easier if you wipe off any oils from your fingers. It just seems to work better. This one's already been, I can see that I've already hit it. So we'll do these first. That necklace I made many, many years ago. And it's probably the one I've gotten the most people have offered to pay a lot of money for it. They're like, I love it and I want it. How much do you want for it? And that's probably one of the only times that I've not, usually I'd be like, all right, let's make a deal. But I didn't want to sell. It's just too many hours. And I'd have to think about how long I spent. Do you have just a regular spray bottle of just plain water? I feel like I have one somewhere on the table.
No.
Because I want to spray this with just a little bit. I don't want to use that rose water you made. for that purpose. Look at this. Azalea made rose water with our roses from our yard. She boiled these and just refilled this Trader Joe's rose water, but it smells awesome. This little thing, can you believe I haven't lost this? I just put it right back into this card that it came with as soon as I'm done with it, so I don't lose it. Because this thing can get plugged up pretty fast. Thank you. Oh, Wendy's joining us today. Hello, hello. This was a fun project to work on when we did samples for colors. Sometimes Wendy will send me, I just plugged this, unplugged it, and it went right back. Sometimes this can be a little tiny bit messy. Just a little bit. Oh, you know what we forgot to talk about? Azalea?
Yes. I need to drop a link to it real quick. We started, y'all know about all the damage in our kitchen. We've talked about it a lot on the stream, and it's it sounds minor, but it's going to be a pretty big job. And we got a quote, and they said it's going to be pretty high to fix our floor because it's like rotten all the way through, and they're going to have to like dig a hole and down in there, and it's a whole big mess. And so since we kind of felt like it really, like in the amount of time that we have to make the money for this, I don't think it's very, well, this was my idea. I didn't think it was very feasible that we would be able to raise that kind of money in the amount of time to get our thing fixed. So we started a GoFundMe. We've never had that before. I wrote it up and set it up this morning. I was kind of nervous about it because it makes, I don't know. I was just nervous about it and kind of uncomfortable, but at the same time, I know that there's people out there that are just looking for a cause. And after Helene, and we got some, light flooding, nothing like everybody else. We still had some minor damage, so it's been over a year since everything happened, and a lot of every contractor in town I've heard was busy, and so we finally got a quote just now, a year later.
Well, we didn't. Well, it's not a year later. We didn't have this. We didn't discover this until like 3 months ago. So it's not like we've been sitting on this for a year.
Oh well, true.
You know, I mean, what happened was Greg was replacing some broken tiles in front of the dishwasher, and then when he removed the broken tiles, this was like a couple months ago when all this went down. We didn't know that there had been a leak, a slow leak that affected more than just in the kitchen. It's actually in a couple different places, like in the bathroom as well. And it's just kind of daunting. And Azalea had a good idea. She was like, let's just try it and see what happens. You never know what can happen. And I was like, okay. But I will tell you, that I was filled with, I don't know what the word is. What is a good word that's like just embarrassment,
discomfort.
What are all the words that surround deep discomfort in asking? So whatever that is, anyone that is good with coming up with painful words to describe a feeling of massive discomfort by asking. So
we have it set up, and I don't think we have only like 3 photos of all of the damage on there. We were supposed to take a photo today of the whole family when Max got home from school, but it did not happen because he'd been playing video games, of course. But
that's his comfort.
Yeah. But if I'm going to drop a link to it, and if you guys can think of anybody that might be looking for a cause to help with, I would say that this is definitely a cause. It's causing us a lot of trouble. We don't have a dishwasher anymore, and there's a hole in our kitchen. So, and the cats keep trying to get under there. But anyway,
the hardest part is keeping the cats from trying to use it as a litter box.
I don't know what they were thinking about, but
it's mostly just Pearl. Pearl does not approve of it, and so she keeps trying to use it. So that's the daily one of my daily battles is to keep that cat from using it. So I've got stuff piled in front of it, but you can't. The only thing is you can't quite.
There's not much you can do to block it off because it's right in the
Well,
kitchen in front of all of our cabinets where all of our stuff is held.
Mm-hmm.
It's like underneath all of our dishes and utensils.
Yes, I hate it. So anyway, we have to raise like 12 grand. As far as doing, like we talked to a friend of ours that is in insurance, and they're like, well, it's a slow leak. That's what it counts as. So it doesn't qualify like for homeowners insurance as far as like the Helene damage because they can say it's not directly because it's dishwasher. But maybe we'll try something else. I don't know.
Well, everybody knows that insurance is like scammers.
Well, it's more for like really big things, like if a tree falls on your house or something like that. Oh, I see a good Levi Boyne says use Chickamar to block off the area from the cats. Well, that's actually pretty good because I was thinking what I have in front of it now is a one of those Turkish towels that's woven, and I have it kind of pinned in place, but they bring it down with their claws. Or actually, Pearl does. She just tries to scratch it down. Okay, so this one, you can see I used a little bit. One of my favorite techniques with something like this is to blend on the piece itself and then wipe away. So let me show it one more time. One with a different color. I'm going to wipe this one down real quick because I feel like it sticks a little bit better. Yeah, it's not just, if it were just about the dishwasher, I went without a dishwasher for years and years, and it doesn't really bug me. But having this huge hole and the scary feeling of having this rotten floorboards is not my favorite.
Because the rotting part is stretching kind of a good bit under our cabinets that could like literally collapse on top of the downstairs bathroom and laundry room where there are often people. So it's scary to think that it's pretty soft down there. If you see the pictures, it's pretty muddy. And I get concerned that like one of these days it might be like too much water or too many dishes in the sink or something might weigh it down and it comes through the floor. That stresses me out.
Yeah, we did have several of our customers weigh in and tell me how that exact thing happened to them. So it's a possibility. So we just have that hanging over us. But we are still going to try different things if the GoFundMe. We're not going to just be like, okay, if we don't raise the money through GoFundMe, then that's it. I guess we'll just have to live with it now. I will, there's a few things I can do. A few cards up my sleeve. So there it is without being wiped. Here, now you can let this dry or you can do this. You wipe a little of that off the top. And this color will stay on there. I sometimes will bake them to kind of ensure that the colors won't budge, but I don't think it's necessary, especially if it's in the cracks, if it's in the recessed areas. So let's do a pink. I'm going to blend it right on the piece. So here's a little red on the bottom. Wipe my brush up. I'm trying not to get a lot of water. And then I'm going to grab some of this white and blend it at the edge. And see how it's kind of cool how it kind of does its own blending on the piece. And let's go up with purple and see how that looks. Well, this is actually, it's not a true blue. It's actually a glaze. I didn't notice it when we're doing this. So I let it kind of blend on the piece itself. Kind of go red, white, and blue, huh? Let's a little more white, a little of that glaze. We'll put it right in the middle. It's kind of fun how it spreads, huh? Let's see. Kind of interesting. And then I'll just give it a little bit of a wipe down right there. These are part of this kind of painting is what I do for my necklaces that I take to markets and things. Bring that to the sides. It's a little bit better. And I can bring some of that coloration to this side as well. Just a little bit to bring it around because it could be too colored. I think that looks good. I'll let it dry for a second. Oh, yeah, all these pieces here are part of my carvings. All these I carved over the years. So here's the ones I painted. It goes fast. It's a pretty fast process, unless you go in and do detail painting, which is entirely possible. Let's do a little bit of detail painting on this just to see what it looks like. This is a piece that has a mountain scene from the Blue Ridge Parkway, a little bear. The bear's here. We'll give it a blue sky. Anyway, that was my awkward discomfort. We talked about it for like the last couple of months of, ever since that happened. Like, so how are we going to raise all this money for this? It's hard enough just to be making a living.
Yeah.
This is especially true with like the shows, but we're in a pretty fortunate position, and I'm all the time just filled with gratitude that the things didn't want worse during Helene. Like we could have had like a friend of ours, like a tree fell directly on both of their vehicles, and then they couldn't. Their truck and their car, so that was kind of a big drag for them to have to go through. This came out more sheer than I was thinking. Pretty sheer. Maybe I can get some of this green. I need to get more yellow. Oh, thank you. I see La Vie Boheme. It says that the colors are amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you. Praying for your situation. It will get solved. Keep the faith. I feel like it's just, one of those things. It's like it's like a video game. You have things that will happen in your life. How are you going to get through this level? And it's just part of life. Some things will happen and you're not like, I'm not devastated. It's just one of the things that happen,
We didn't lose anybody.
Yeah, we
still have
that's
a house
the thing
to live
is
in.
like,
Hello.
We had friends that lost everything. So to me, I had a lot of bone deep embarrassment to even ask for anything, just because it seemed like we lost so little, and having minor renovations. I consider it minor because we have friends that have their whole house was washed away and they're having to rebuild from scratch. So to me, that's, and you know what? Thankfully, they were able to raise money really fast. So that's one of the other things is people have been very supportive all across America. Have been, coming into this day, you have people helping. Blue. All right. So that's happening. What else is happening? On the 17th through the 19th, we have our Great Beat Extravaganza event happening. We had a few emails come in from a few of my friends that were like, hey, did you see that you have some people copying your format? And I was like, there are always going to be people that are inspired by the success of what we've done. And I don't think of it as like, as like a complete negative. I think of it as like, we're leaders. We're scoping it out for the next wave. This may be the way people do shows nowadays instead of how we've always done it. So, but the difference is we're still free. Our event is, we're not charging like a lot of folks are charging for. And I don't blame them for charging because, this is, we're volunteering our time, but not everybody is in the position to volunteer. And I feel very fortunate and very blessed that I can do that. Like I can say, hey, Zelia, we need to get everything ready for this event that, sometimes it's one of those things, you might not make any money. And the very first ones, we didn't make much at all. But the feeling of community that took place was really moving. Like the amount of people that showed up, on average during our segment, we get sometimes close to 300 people. And at one time we did have like 320 people from all over the country and all over the world tuning in. So it felt pretty awesome. And that, I watch other people's lives from different, we've seen celebrities on Instagram have like 30 people. I'm like, guess what? Those people have millions of followers and we have like 200. What's out like? Pretty good times. I don't need much black. You can see that I'm getting like the smallest amount. So these little tubes they will make will paint a lot of pieces. And if you have those 5 colors, that's what I've stuck to right now is 5 colors and including 1 interference glaze. I paint this little bear black. I don't know if I'm going to keep it though. It's pretty cute, but I don't know. We'll see how it looks. There's a bear cave at the bottom of our hill. And every year we see a bunch of little bears. It's so cute. How adorable that is. Isn't that cute? Wendy says, we have basement flood all the time in Wisconsin. Insurance will usually cover it. What does Ann say? Sometimes what we're dealing with the insurance, there's so much of that going around. And people are saying, just say it's part of the lien, but it's a slow leak. I'm not sure when it took place, but our friend was like, if it's a slow leak, they won't cover it. But we can always double, triple check it. Morphing Design says, Marty's doing his job well by patiently laying, seeing his post, and being the best support cat. He is. He's sitting there being quiet and calm and waiting for his treats. This stuff won't stain your hands. They'll be easy to remove. I put a little bit of water. It's like acrylic paint. But as far as on metal, if it dries and you don't like it, you'll have to use a solvent to remove it. Because the medium that's in here is a very durable sealant. It's extremely durable. Azalea and I were working on our own blend. Pretty cool. For Fresno, we launched a technique and it came out pretty good. We were happy with it, but I've yet to write the full directions, so that's coming soon.
This is some victorious music.
Mm-hmm. I was just about to say, man, this is somebody that just crossed a finish line.
I know.
This is like 80s. They call it retro. What is this called? Retro. Synth wave. There's the word.
They're feeling it. Did you hear that sound? That was my neck.
Yeah, that was. Let's get this little. I'm going to do. The black, for whatever reason, is very saturated. I'm going to hit this little manatee and see what it looks like with a gray coat. It's already gray, so I don't know if it's going to be cute or if it's just
gray on gray.
Gray on gray. Is it going to do anything? It's pretty cute. One of my favorite pieces. There's a bank in Key West.
I almost said make it a pink manatee, but then I was like, that's gonna look naked because it's got all the folds.
Okay,
It's
let's try
It's
Zoe's
gonna look like
technique.
a chicken breast.
It's gonna be a little chickeny. Let's see what happens.
Somebody's chicken breast. Well, it looks like a Sphynx cat with all the folds and the light pink. That's kind of freaky.
Mm-hmm. That's cute.
Bless you.
That's cute. So anyway, this is when I was traveling around in Key West in the 90s. There was a bank. I can't remember the name of the bank. But anyway, they had this huge sculpture of a manatee, and it was really thick, really fat. And I was like, why is it so cute? And anyway, this is kind of reminds me of that sculpture in front of the bank in Key West. It's adorable. Or maybe it's West Palm Beach. I don't remember. But I was doing a show, and it actually came out cute. Let it dry. Oh, Wendy's got a good point. Wendy says, and actually, if your power was out for that long, and it was out for like, we had our power come back on after 4 days because we are situated right behind the school here, and that's where they use as their base for the city of Asheville. So we had helicopters flying over top of us for like weeks. Felt like we were in a movie.
kind of is. They've made disaster movies.
Mm-hmm.
Natural
I kind of want to do this in copper. Wouldn't that be cute in copper? Let's see if I have a copper color. If I didn't have a copper color, that is, I could always use Pearl-X powders with one of these clear, like this is a clear, but it has interference and iridescent blue, but they make it clear. So is this the clear marble? That's white. You could just use, here's matte. Let's see if I can find one. Here's Victorian gold. Like, just give me the copper. Where's the copper? Here we go. Boy, this one, see that's like how much pigment is in each jar. Not a lot of pigment. That's why I was like, I bet I could make my own paint. I mean, I make my own egg tempera, and I've made my own watercolors and inks. I love paint making. You know, this one came out, looking at this one, look how good this one came out. This is from a while ago, but these are fun. Oh, and by the way, this is coming soon. I'm not sure when we're going to get the samples, but these were made, we had them carved in stone, and the first wave is in onyx or obsidian, and it looks good, good, good. I'm excited to show those. I'll make a kit. Let's see how this is looking. Be nice. We'll make this Wallace and Gromit looking spaceship. It's what it kind of reminds me of, you know, in that, what was that one? That cheese planet?
Yeah, the moon is cheese, and it had like the penguin.
Mm-hmm.
That was or no. The one is it could have had the penguin, but I like the one with the robot. The robot on the moon was so cute. He just wanted to eat cheese and crackers and be in a spaceship.
Yeah, it's legit.
Can you relate?
Mm-hmm. I love cheese.
And spaceships.
Mm-hmm. I made the spaceship kind of like a cartoon spaceship, but I like it. And you know, it's one of our good sellers for menfolk.
You can make it the red spaceship like in Wallace and Gromit.
Oh yeah, missed opportunity. I'll do it again right now when this dries. Look how cute that looks. It's looking cuter and cuter by the second. We'll let it, I'm going to set it on it's ready for takeoff. I have that red sitting right there. I'll do it right now. I have a little bit of red left. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And I'm just brushing the paint on very gently. They're easy to paint. And if it doesn't look good, you could always just, you know, either scrub it off or use paint thinner. If you do it quick enough, if you're like, oh my God, it looks so ugly, then you can throw it in the water right now and maybe some of it will come off. But it's pretty durable. So that looks pretty good with the copper layer. Wendy says cheese is mandatory in Wisconsin. Yeah, it is. Ugh, almost sneeze. I love when we would go to Bead and Button Show, we would always stop at Mars Cheese Castle, and it was good times. That to me was good times. And I would get, and it's now that I think about it, it doesn't sound that good, but they had a chocolate cheese that was so weird. I had to get it, and it tasted weird. Kind of reminded me of. It's always making a face like it's full of horror and distaste, but it wasn't as bad as you'd imagine. And actually, you're the one that asked for it. So when she was little, she was like, "Mom, can I have it?" It was like it looked like clay, it looked like plastilina, brown plastilina.
Wow. Yeah.
And she picked it out, and it was actually not bad. It was a little weird. It was. You know what it tasted like? It tasted like cheesecake. That's what it tasted like. That's why it was like when they say chocolate cheese, think of it more like the cheese is like cream cheese. See, if you think of it like salty cheddar, then it's not as good. But if you imagine it as cream cheese, then you're like, oh, okay,
Acceptable.
Marty
thought that treat was acceptable. He ate it good.
I think that looks pretty good. You like this like brush? I've been painting so many like lotus and lily pads lately for my frog game. So if I want to do a watery layer, I don't add more water because that makes the thinnest, weakest film. So you want to get glaze. This one is kind of, no, I don't want to mess with that. I'll just use this one. Wendy says, I so miss Bead and Button shows. Was that at the one with the giant mouse outside? No, the Mars Cheese Castle looked like it looked like a castle. Like they built a turret, and I can't remember what you call that look of the staggered bricks on top or stones. What is that called? It looks like teeth. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know what that's called. But Mars Cheese Castle. We stopped at all those places. If it was like, get your cheese here. We stopped at each one of them. It's like one time we carried a cooler. One year it was me and Weasel and gosh, who else was with me? But I tell you, we were so root bound by the end of it. We couldn't even look at cheese. And everybody else was like, no, thank you. And we were like, hey, you guys want some chocolate cheese? Like, no, thank you. And I don't know why. It's delicious. This is a glaze on top with a little bit of pink and that clear, and it gives it a kind of a watercolor wash. Oh, I think it looks pretty. What do you think? I can't imagine that Cheese Castle is not there anymore. That place was always full of people. I want to make the inside a little more reddish. Maybe, and then the back says enlightenment. I don't know what that has to do with a lotus, but that's what I carved it, you know. I had a lot of people act. Huh?
You carved that?
Yes.
Carving, like, I don't know what this has to do with anything, but
well, when people are like, it's enlightenment, you know, like that's what a lotus is reminiscent of. And you know, now as I get older and have more knowledge, now I know that when you see the lotus, it actually makes, the reason they say that now I know, is because it makes a mandala shape when it is in full bloom. So you get that golden spiral shape. which happens to be, there's a frequency. And see, I listened to this whole podcast about frequencies the other day and how they make patterns in water when you freeze it. Certain sounds. And now it makes sense. I'll have to drop that link for that podcast so we can all make us all understand exactly how that works. I think we have some of these on the website. Don't we have this Lotus? This is one of our all-time bestsellers. People love this piece.
Yeah.
Should be on the website.
I could not tell you what the SKU number is.
I don't remember what the SKU is.
But it should be Lotus. You'll find it if you search Lotus. We don't really usually run out of anything pewter on the website. We don't usually put inventory on those because it's all made to order. So it should be on there.
Wendy? What you talking? I'm putting cocoa powder and guacamole and saying it's dairy-free chocolate. If you want dairy-free chocolate, you know the way to do it is you just cocoa powder and coconut oil. There's dairy-free. Coconut milk.
I'm glad I'm not dairy-free.
Yeah.
For myself.
Dairy-free is hard. It's a hard road to hoe if you like ice cream and stuff.
I had a friend in middle school that was gluten-free and dairy-free.
Man, that's rough.
I'd be crying.
Well, when I was on that low inflammation diet, there was a lot of things I couldn't eat, and that was miserable. But it did heal my stomach, so there you go. Sometimes it's, sometimes you gotta kind of went around the edge here. I don't know how I feel about that. It's okay. I give it another. See how the black went into this? Let me see if I can't repair that to make it look a little bit better. When he says much more appetizing, I have made. Wow, there's a chocolate from the French Broad Chocolate Lounge that's supposed to be dairy-free. It's called the Buddha chocolate. And you would not know that it was dairy-free if you were sitting there going, oh, I don't know. It's like dark chocolate. Why did I get this? Oh, yeah, blue. So this has all been with the limited palette except for the copper. And the copper, we actually covered it up anyway, so you can't even, this is the one we used the copper on. What's good about these kind of flat brushes is you can hit the tops and the sides, like you can get in there and just go around the edge. It's pretty easy to use, this kind of brush. One of my favorites. Cleaning up the edge there. Kind of bring out his little ear to outline it. So he looks a little more robust, tidy. Looks pretty good. Yeah, you know what, Wendy? I think I've seen that guac that they're like, look, dairy free. All you need is an avocado and cocoa powder. And Azalea sent it to me as a joke. She's like, here, Mom. And it did not look appetizing from that picture. I'm not gonna lie, it looked something like
the way
the
way they squeezed it out into the bowl.
Yeah, that was like
a spiral.
Yeah, it did not look.
I was like, wait a minute, you guys, this kind of reminds me of something. I don't know what.
You guys can imagine from a child humor.
Saw that on Instagram. Hey, Mom, I have an idea for you.
She's like, here you go. You can. This is good for you. Thanks.
I'm crying. No.
Give her like a nice. I love painting these mermaids. I could paint them all day long. In fact, sometimes I do, and then I put them on a cord on it, and I sell them at the show. The next show that we have lined up, man, that's the official one. I need to get into some. The next official one is the Big Crafty, and that's in December. So I need to get in there and find some shows to sign up for. I made her all green. She's like the Incredible Hulk or Elphaba. Y'all remember that book? From Gregory Maguire. The other stepsister. Or maybe that wasn't the name of it. Oh no, maybe it was. No, though that was the wrong. Elphaba was Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
That was a long time ago when I read those. Ages and ages ago. Let's make her hair a darker blue. Let's see how that looks. See if it's pretty. It is. She's a little more friendly than the mermaids on that one show that we were watching. What was it called? Was it like Sirens?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember where they were kind of like...
Venus Enos.
They were kind of... they had sharp teeth.
They did.
They're very sharp. They're like a shark. And I was like, that's more mythological. They're not the friendly Disney mermaids. These are more like, that's a mermaid that will cut you with her teeth, with her mouth. That's the mermaids from
Old times.
the old time mermaid. The love of a child.
Here, Mama. I have something for you. And it's that.
Wendy she's got a good story here. Good God. My friend back home made a French silk pie, and I got all excited until I remembered that she's gluten, dairy free. All the stuff. It even had a white topping. I was afraid to ask what was even in there. Wow. Hopefully coconut and maybe some cocoa powder. If you're unfortunate, back in the day, I say back in the day, and I mean the 90s, if you said, I had a friend at the French Broad, not the French Broad, what was that place called? The North Market in Columbus. And she had a bakery that did all gluten-free. And this is in the time when nobody even knew what that even meant. Like, how can you have baked goods and no gluten? It doesn't make any sense. And so, in her brownies, they're like that big around, like that thick, and like that dense. And she'd always, like, if I were there, I used to set up on the upstairs, like in the market part, with my 6 different bead designs. And she's like, I have a treat for you. And inwardly, I knew she meant well, but man, I always thought it was like brown sawdust. I didn't want to say anything because it was so thoughtful of her to bring me a gluten-free, dairy-free, sugar-free brownie. And I was like, what? How can you make it sweet then? It's like if the sugar was like dates and like
dates mixed with water.
It was dates
and dirt.
mixed with cocoa powder and some other kind of dust.
You need something moist at that point. If
The
it's
dates
all
were
dry,
supposed to be, they were very,
dry.
very, very, very dry.
Dates are not that
and
moist.
Dense.
They're actively dry.
And not that sweet. It might, nowadays I'd probably be like, oh, But back then, she would watch me eat. She would be like, try this. And I was like one of her testers. And I got to the point where I was just like, listen, I told her I was on a diet. I wasn't on a diet, but I just told her that. So
like, no, don't worry. This doesn't have any sugar in it. Eat up.
She was like, and I was like, no. Now I feel bad. That's like 20 years ago. I still feel bad about like not loving her baked goods. Like I wanted to love them, especially since they were supposed to be so good for you. And she's like, it's so good for you. How about, sometimes if something's supposed to be good, let's just eat a peach or something. That's good for you. And it doesn't need any doctoring of any kind.
This is true. I do enjoy a peach.
Mm-hmm, me too. Give it a little bit extra pull spots on there. This is, I like to do this part. And then wipe off quickly. So you just have the little bit of blue in the cracks. Oh, cute. See a spot in there. Morgan Sun says, the brownie is supposed to induce endorphins of pleasure. Well, this, I don't know. I like to eat things. So my favorite bakery in town is called Well Bread Bakery, and it's really good. They're in. They have a food truck in Reams Creek, and also their actual location. I don't know. They had a location in Biltmore before it got washed away, but the one in Weaverville is a pretty nice looking bakery. It looks like it could be in a movie, and they just renovated it. It's really pretty. But the best thing that they make is a key lime pie with a ginger snap crust, and they use a layer of passion fruit. Like, I think it's like a gel of some kind on the crust. So it's like extremely tart at first.
Look how often on the stream we just end up talking about food.
That was really good. Very delicious. So if you guys come to Asheville when we go on retreat here, we'll go get a whole big pie from them. I've already decided. We'll get the whole pie. So that's something to look forward to, is that delicious pie. Azalea makes a super delicious pumpkin pie. That's what I heard. Look how pretty that looks with a little bit of blue. Let me take off some of that.
I don't own up to that pumpkin pie because it's not in my recipe.
Oh, Morphing Design says the dairy-free, gluten-free of today is so much different from in the 90s. Oh my gosh, it's like night and day. One is like flavor-free, happiness-free. I mean, at that point, I was like, just go eat a fistful of nuts and be done with it. Because there's no point in this. This is no bueno. Although I will say, I mean, and then it was. And I want to say cocoa powder, but I don't think it was even cocoa powder. I think it was, guys, get ready to shudder, carob powder. If you don't remember that atrocity, it's so bad. That was the time of true suffering, is when there were carob chips and something. And you're like, what is this waxy hard thing I'm chewing on? I don't think they even make that anymore. Well, I'm putting that blue on there and trying to get it to make the texture or to make the the letters pop. And it says we do not remember days, we remember moments. Oh, Wendy says the barbecue place. Actually, we'll go to oh, Wendy, you're thinking of where did we go? We went to 12 Bones. 12 Bones is good. I like bear barbecue a little bit better nowadays. I like different things at different places. Oh, we've gone over an hour. I didn't even notice. Wow. Azalea is completely 100% unsurprised.
I've been knitting. I have not been paying attention to that.
I'm
making Dad a hat.
That's nice of you. Lovely daughter. All right, so in the amount of time, let's say an hour, I painted not that many. Let's see.
We just
1,
talked,
2,
I guess.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Talked about some cheese action.
8. Cheese. So
cheese and chocolate, classic combo.
So that's how many you can do in an hour if you're chit-chatting, chicken snacking.
Yapping
with your friends. There you go, friends. What do you think? Looking good? And so I put these guys on a cord, the painted ones, and I put them in a sleeve. And then sometimes we take them around different stores, That one came out good. This one particularly. Look at this. This is a good seller right here. Came out good. And these paints, I've had these for a million years. And they work good. Work really well. This one is pretty, this is one inspired by my friend that has fox paws. She did a ceramic, and I did 2 coats. One blue. The first coat is blue, and the coat on top of that is a dusky pink. That's what you get. I love this piece. I know I have several in the works that are smaller for the next round. I'm working on some more of these because I've had some people ask about it. See, Gray, I'm thinking of you. Thinking of you. Because we are thinking of the same thing, you know. Oh, thank you. Wayne Ryan says we love chit chat. Oh, Wendy says, yeah, I got to get my Cynthia Azalea hour. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Cute.
Yeah, that is cute. Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate you. We've been getting some good feedback as far as the retreat. Got a few folks sent me an email and said, hey, guess what? You can do this. Somebody mentioned the Biltmore. Kathy. Kathy Ryan. Hi, Kathy. She's on Wayne Ryan. It's probably someone else's account. I'm going to do this skeleton because I've never done it with these paints. And I'm like, why didn't I do that? Do one more real fast just to see what it looks like. And I'll give it to Azalea because she will like this. It's going to be cute. And I'm using the flat edge and I'm just highlighting it. Check out how cute that looks already. It's already adorable. I do well with this, especially during Halloween time.
It's Halloween time right now.
I told Azalea, I said, listen, I want to go into a pumpkin patch. That is something I would like to do. And maybe we'll go tomorrow because there's a estate sale. It took me a minute for my brain to find the name of the thing that I was thinking of. And they have woodworking tools. And I get some from we've been working on that project with our friend Hobie. Look how cute that looks. Do the back side. What do you think the color should be around the edge, little daughter? The color you want on the edge. You can do any color. I'm just getting the bones.
Like a dark red would probably match that pretty well.
Ooh, dark red. I made this after I went to the catacombs. And you know what? The catacombs were not for me. I thought I would love it because I was like, ooh, I like things that are kind of mysterious and kind of spooky. No, I'm not. No, that's not for me. I thought I would, but I ended up getting really creeped out. And also, you have to go down like a million stairs. And it made me feel like I was buried. So I really was not for me. I couldn't wait to get out of that. And it distressed me. I was like, why are people making sculptures out of this stuff? This seems disrespectful. Even though y'all are monks back in the day, you don't need to make a Game of Thrones style chariot throne out of heads. What are you doing? You don't need to make that. That was my thought. I was like, my takeaway is that y'all had too much time on your hands. You need to go out there in the garden and go do something with yourself. This is weird.
Yeah.
I was like, this is super weird, and I want to support this. Everyone said I would love it. Turns out I don't love it. Almost. And then maybe I'll set these in the oven. I have a little oven. It's a little convection oven that I use for polymer clay. And I'll toss these in for about 15 minutes. And that gives me a little bit of peace of mind that they'll be as durable as anything. Just like those paints from, remember Martha Stewart had those glass paints in the early 2000s? Those were good. And they stuck to those glasses and plates and things. And you remember how you had to bake that it was like $2.75 for 20 minutes or something. And that stuff, you could bake glasses, all kinds of stuff that you could draw on. It'll look good. No paint waste. Yeah, see, no paint waste. That's good times. And this would just peel right off of this plastic. Okay, so that's that one. Pretty charming. What do you think, little daughter?
That's so cute. I like.
Oh, yeah, not good for my delicate chi. That is 100% correct. I don't like to feel trapped. Yeah, you like it?
I do. Yay!
Perfect. All right. Well, that was fun, y'all. Thank you for joining us. I'm gonna get this. Oh, Wendy likes the red. No, pewter will not melt. No, this is not going to melt unless you put it in. That's like 500 degrees. I've never had one of these melt at 200. That would not melt. And I think it's like 275 maybe. My little convection oven that I use for polymer clay, it doesn't have like a temperature on it, like a temperature readout. It's like 1 through 8. And I put it at, or maybe it's a 1 through 10, and I put it at 7 power level. I don't know what 7 power level is, but it cooks the pewter or polymer clay. So, okay, let's take a look at this. Here's this one. That's similar. There's the other side. And you know what? You could actually go and do another layer if you wanted to. But again, the longer you take, the less money. If you're reselling, you don't make as much money if you sit there and really massage these pieces. Look how cool it looks when you hit it with this. You get this. I get these at AC Moore, or not AC Moore, Ace Hardware. And usually I cut them up like into small things like that. Cut this into eighths, so it's not like it's a big whole flap I have to maneuver. Because I'm using, this is for like automotive or woodworking, and you don't need this great big thing to hang on to. And you know what else? You can sharpen your scissors. So if you have, let's see, you got a pair of scissors? Oh, here we go. Well, another one of my estate sale finds. These got them in the estate sale. Kind of like this. And you might be like, what? But I use these on paper anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I'm also, if you listen, that sound, that kind of sharpens up your blade a little bit. So you can do that with sandpaper too. I have some sandpaper in the drawer, in the kitchen drawer, to get my kitchen scissors. I'll run that through. But this does the same thing, where it's kind of like sharpening them up. If someone out there that's like a knife sharpener and they're watching me and they're like, oh my God, that's the wrong thing, you can go ahead and say if it's terrible. But I find that now, listen, these rusty old scissors, I never cleaned them up. I just got them at this sale, and then I just, because I go through scissors, So anyway, now I have all these little guys, and this is good on metal. I use them for all kinds of things. So this is the appropriate size for me. I can use them on, say I have, let's see, got all this stuff right here. So it's kind of shiny, and you want to hit it, you want to take down that shine a little bit so you can do something, paint it. Or say you just don't want it shiny. You want more of matte or satin. I mean, this will give you good satin. And the good thing about that is you can see more details when you don't have a shiny surface to contend with. There, you can see her a little bit better. You can see that she's got a little tiny moon shell in her hand. It's pretty good. This is the way I like them, but you know what? It's so funny. I tried to do this a long time ago when I first started. I tried to make all of them this sort of satin finish like this. I had so many people complain. Everybody outvoted me and said, this is the way. They wanted this one. This was my favorite, but this was not shiny enough. So, I mean, this looks more like silver, I guess. So, any of my personal jewelry, I always hit it with the sanding sponges just to give it. And I don't hit it hard because you can actually scratch it if you go too aggressively. Because remember, these are for like cars and things to get the finish down. All right. Oh, yeah, wood stoves. Yeah, they can get really hot. I think the pewter melts at like, I should know this, but I think it's like 500 degrees. All right, I'm going to go up.
It's baby snack time.
It's baby time. Baby he's just chilling. He's not concerned with the goings on, but Watch how fast he'll react to this. Where's that? Snap. I'm not gonna say anything. Thanks, you.
Sleeping hard.
You see his
out and
tongue?
everything.
His tongue was like starting to flap. It was like he was tasting the molecules in the air.
He's sleeping good.
Ready. His tongue is already out ready. Let's see if he'll stand on his own 2 feet. He's like, I don't know if I'm gonna. Oh, he will. What kind of animal is that? His little tongue. He's always sticking his tongue out. He has a really wide tongue. He makes me think of Appa from the last Airbender. So cute. Whoa, almost dropped it. Okay, honey.
How'd he hold it?
Yeah, he's got a hold of my hand pretty tight. Little baby. All right, my friends. Thank you all for joining me. I went long today. Chit chat. All right. So we have the GB coming up. End of the month, or kind of mid-range, 17th through the 19th. Y'all should tune in. It'll be a lot of fun. A lot of our friends are going to have a lot of wonderful tutorials. He is a circus bear cat.
Teddy cat.
He is a little titty cat. And our section is on the Sunday, on the 19th. So if you're not doing anything 2:30 Sunday, tune in because we're going to have some kind of fun project. I'm hoping to have these guys finished and a pearl lucky dip. But that will all depend on how fast I work and get everything going. All right. Oh, Wendy says it's so good to see you. So good to see you all, my friends. I love it when we can hang out together. It's a highlight of my week. All right, my friends, I will see you on Sunday. All right. We love you all out there and hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. All right. Good night, friends.
Good night, everyone.